That's one conclusion I would draw. Secondly, if you could grow that company more slowly with $1 million or $2 million that you might find from angels, and you can't find VCs who are interested, you might well put together a model that says we're going to grow this company organically. So we angels are looking for angel-only deals in numbers that we never considered before. We're very interested in funding angel-only deals simply because we can't find VCs that are interested in funding our companies. So with that as a sort of conclusion, the angel market here and elsewhere is doing very well, and the venture capital market is troubled. I'd be more than happy to address any questions you might have. So the question is there an average amount of time that angel investors stay engaged with the company? When I sit with an entrepreneur before, sort of during the beginning of the due diligence period, or maybe when I'm first meeting the entrepreneur, they're quite shocked when my third question is, what's your exit strategy? Their response is, why the hell do you want to know my exit strategy? You don't even understand my company yet. You know, you haven't even talked to any of my customers. The reason is that I want to make sure that they understand that I'm not a bank. I'm an investor. I'm buying equity, and I exit when they exit. And that's my answer to this question. We stay engaged with the company until exit. Now, there are times when a lot of money comes into the company. That's rare, but it does happen. So it may be appropriate for us to step off the board or get unengaged and bring in vertical experts who've run much bigger companies than we have, especially in this particular space. Personally, I do not wear board service as a merit badge. When I sign on to being a director with company, I give the CEO my resignation on the same day, and he can decide when he wants to enforce it, because I'm not looking for another 120 years of board service compared to the last 120 years that I have. And so oftentimes it is, we stick around for a long time. The 15-year exit I mentioned a while ago, I was the chairman of the company the whole time. Other instances, it's very appropriate when big money comes in to get out of the way and let that big money sort of manage the company as it moves forward. Any other questions? Yes, sir. The question is, what is my explanation for why the venture capital model is not working? I think venture capitalists worldwide, but especially venture capitalists in the U.S., found it very easy to raise huge funds, and that led to all kinds of trouble. It led to venture capital investing in the U.S. an average of $30 million prior to an exit, and an average exit of $150 million if they can find an exit. How many $150 million exits are there in the U.S. in each year? Tiny number. So VCs aren't finding exits. They're investing huge amounts of monies on average, and they're not finding exits. So if there's no exit, there's no carried interest. If there's no carried interest, what keeps a VC involved? Administrative fees. 2% of $400 million is a nice number. I could get comfortable living with that kind of an administrative fee. But if the fund is motivated to go to work every day solely by administrative fees, their return on investment for their limited partners is going to be Zippo, and that's what you're seeing. So from my perspective, during the internet bubble, VC firms were able to raise huge funds, and they were not able to successfully invest huge funds in the startup space. And that resulted in very low returns on average and a reluctance on the part of limited partners to continue to invest. Any other questions? So how much How much equity are angel investors interested in obtaining as part of their round of investment? Well, I could tell you 20 to 40% is sort of typical, but let me give you a little longer response to that. If the company has achieved more milestones, not less milestones, their valuation at investment is likely to be higher. If they need less money instead of more money at that same stage, then we may only be buying 10% of the company. On the other hand, if the company really is very raw and very, very early, and they need a significant amount of money to achieve their first milestone, let's say $1 million, then we might own 40% of the company at the end of that because they just didn't have any valuation prior to our engaging in investment. Personally, I don't like to see angels have more than 50% equity after the first round of investment. It does happen, but I like to keep the entrepreneurs highly motivated, and I know there's going to be another round of investment. No matter what happens, there's probably going to be a little more money that needs to be raised, and that's going to be highly dilutive on the entrepreneur. So 20 to 40% is my short answer. Any other questions?
And Craig Haycock from BNZ is just going to come up and express a vote of thanks. Thanks, Craig. There we go.
Thanks very much, Samantha. And thank you, Bill. My name's Craig Haycock. I run the strategy and specialist business for BNZ, or BNZ Partners, which is what is our business and corporate banking part of the world. The opportunity to be involved with Bill was, from BNZ's perspective, a fantastic one. We've, as a bank, which I think Bill described us as mature in terms of finding money from, we're well aware that we can't provide everything in terms of capital, but we also know that as a bank, in providing money to business, we need to find other ways. So that actually dates back to a long relationship with Icehouse, which we were founding partners in 2001. So the concepts of angels, of the accelerator program, and also of the owner management program is a core part of what we do. So it's with a lot of pride. I think we've got some of our original owner management program people here today, and we've got 400 of them here. But we're also well aware that, you know, we've got nearly 90% of our businesses are SMEs and less than 5 people in this market, and we need a lot of investment and a lot of Aunt Marthas to get us into those numbers to carry on for the future. So we've actually been a joint offender on the House of Payne. We've been not a shy sponsor and putting Bill in front of a lot of our clients. We've been involved with the Australian New Zealand Investment Forum, the Maori Business Expo, and also the CFO Symposium. And I think the biggest endorsement of what you say and what you do, Bill, is the feedback that we've got, which has been outstanding. And I think it's put an enormous spark into the type of clients we've had in front of you, and that's great from our perspective. So thank you very, very much. We know you're under time pressure, and we know you're also off to the CFO Summit, which is another one which I think we've slotted in your diary as well. So thank you very much, and thank you everyone for your attendance.